Monsters are tragic beings. They are born too tall, too strong, too heavy. They are not evil by choice. That is their tragedy. I am a transgender woman. That tells you a few things about me. First, it tells you that I was assigned male at birth, but now I am a woman. Second, it tells you that my life expectancy is significantly shorter than my cisgender counterparts, male or female. Third, it tells you, maybe unconsciously, to think of me as a monster. The amount of work that has gone into implanting this thought into your head is immense. I can't really blame you for holding it. Dead billionaire pedophile, child sex trafficker, and close friend of the current president of the United States, Jeffrey Epstein, contributed significant amounts of money towards delegitimizing transgender people within the scientific community and the public eye. His political party has been running with it ever since. It's no wonder the current administration has turned us into the latest social issue. We've become little more than a wedge to drive in between people. Sometimes I wonder if they're right. If I should detransition to the best of my ability after 9 years on HRT, live a sad life as a man, but at least I won't be killed. Or worse. I don't see many futures for myself that involve happiness or joy, at least in any significant amounts. Often I have more fear than excitement for the children that I may one day assist in bringing into the world. There are few things I dread more than the idea of leaving my wife a single parent. Perhaps alongside it is watching my children die, all of us in a concentration camp. They're being built as we speak.
You knew that, right?
I'm traveling back from visiting a friend in upstate New York with my wife. We need to pass through New Hampshire, a state that I have come to fear deeply. One of many that I cannot safely travel through the rural parts of. We stop at a fast food restaurant for lunch and to use the restroom. It's a long drive involving an agonizingly slow ferry. The restaurant is empty save for us and a group of construction workers. Upon seeing us enter the women's bathroom together, I can feel their eyes on the back of my neck. I finish faster than my wife does, and rather than stay in the restroom where we could both potentially be hurt, I leave and make myself a target for them just in case. At least my wife could then escape, maybe call authorities and hope that they don't escalate the situation or help the aggressors. When I exit the bathroom, the men have moved closer to where we had been sitting. I hear them talking about and fat and pronouns. Every so often they look up to make sure I am listening. I don't make eye contact for fear that I will be seen. I am an ash silhouette among radioactive waste. They thought I was a monster, a monster, a monster, a monster. Maybe that was just the location. I was in rural New Hampshire, deep in a red state. Any minority would have been in danger there. Sure, maybe I can give you that. But location means little in the world that we live in today. We're not as safe here as we hope we are. Once, I was followed into a public women's restroom by a man. He harassed me, claimed I was in there to attack children. The bathroom was empty, other than him and me. He saw me, 6'6" and 280 pounds at the time, entering the women's restroom, and took it upon himself to protect all the women who weren't there. It was an empty 2-stall washroom, but in his mind I was so significant a threat that even stepping into this women's space constituted a crime worth confrontation. As he was removed from the establishment, trying to physically attack me but held back, he called me a monster. Don't get me wrong. I understand that guy was, let's say, an outlier. After all, I'm in Massachusetts, right? About the safest place in the country for trans people. But not all transphobia is this overt. Most of the time, it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm helping my great-grandfather set up a streaming service on his TV. I'm wearing a dress, maybe the first time I'm wearing a dress in front of him. I've never officially come out to him, but I think that he gets it, and that he takes a don't ask, don't tell approach. Maybe even a live and let live approach. Whatever the case, he navigates to an old TV show after I show him how to search. The show centers around 3 men in dresses trying to convince the people around them that they are women. It's endlessly played for laughs. They are constantly the butt of the joke, the 3 Stooges in drag. I am unsure whether this is an attempt to connect or an attempt to tell me never again. Lucky for him, I discover my butchness not long after. I rarely wear dresses these days. You might say, your great-grandfather? He must be in his 90s. He is. Surely you can't expect someone like him to accept something so different from what he was taught, so different from anything that he has ever seen or experienced. Maybe. But not all transphobia is a microaggression, an accident, that subtle nor executed by those who are old. I'm shopping for dresses for the first time. I need to try some on before I purchase them. By now, I've made and remade the mistake of buying online too often. I head up to the clerk who hands out the little numbers. She's around my age, and maybe my face is just a little too unshaven. Maybe my breasts aren't revealed enough. Maybe I don't hike my voice's pitch up enough. Maybe my nose or my jawline framed my face wrong in the harsh fluorescent lights. I told her I had 3 dresses to try on. One was white with stripes of red and yellow and blue. One was red like wine and blood, and I was so sad when it didn't fit. The last one, I don't remember, but it didn't fit either. The clerk looked me up and down. She squinted her eyes. Men's is on the left, she said, handing me a 3 on a hook. When I moved toward the right, she said, stronger this time, men's is on the left. Moving toward me, I tried the dresses on in the men's side of the dressing rooms. She thought I was a monster. She thought I was a monster. A monster. A monster. Okay, sure, maybe she was an outlier too. A TERF or a Trump voter, or part of some other cult that have all drunk the Kool-Aid. I think it's pretty unlikely, though, that other trans people are any of those things. For years, I have stared down the barrel of they-them pronouns aimed at me by people that knew better. Sometimes it's just what they use for everyone. Often it comes after I'd made a social mistake, a frequent occurrence when you're as awkward as I am, or done something manly or innocently and gently flirted with someone who didn't reciprocate any feelings. It turns my pronouns into something that I need to earn from the people around me through performed, inaccurate femininity. And feminine smallness, quietness at that. My own gender, something so central to the identity of the vast majority of people, something that we are all forced to have, whether we want it or not, taken from me when I act out of place. Too tall, too strong, too heavy. Not the butch woman that I am. But a monster.
But a monster. But a monster.
But a monster.
I don't think I can finish this without discussing one of the simultaneously most vile and most common ways through which trans women are ostracized, stripped of their personhood, made into monsters. Spurious or dishonest accusations of pedophilia are nothing new. Throughout the 60s and 70s, and even later, they were used extensively at the expense of gay people. Today, and specifically with the help of the widely anonymous internet, this strategy has proven exceedingly effective, at removing trans women from spaces and communities wherein they should be safe, especially when they make the social missteps that I've already described, when they've told one off-color joke, when they accidentally misgender someone, a totally honest mistake that happens all the time, when they ask the wrong person out on a date, misreading mixed signals. Many of these women pay the ultimate price. Those who don't are shunned, their entire social circles collapsing around their shoulders, waking up in the morning to find social media posts being whispered around them like smoke off a campfire. Accusations being started, and then escalated, and then escalated, and then escalated until they contain or imply or dance around one of the most heinous crimes one can commit. It's so endemic to internet communities that I've even seen trans women do it to other trans women. It collapses your entire support system and leaves you with no one to turn to until even your own sibling begins to wonder if they're right and attempts to turn your own parents against you, until your name becomes a curse among those groups where you were once a part, until the suicidality leaks into your soul and leaves you to never assume good of anyone anymore. Until you must rebuild yourself piece by piece and hope that the shoddy frame and cracking foundations of you passes as human, let alone person. Ask me how I know. How could I not begin to internalize some of these ideas into my being? How could I not begin to feel for the monster? How could I not feel just a little evil, not by choice, but by external pressure? Spend long enough being told that you're a monster and you begin believing it. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'll be for the next long while, I think. It's not like I have many other options other than plugging my ears and hoping I don't hear about what's going on around me. That isn't an option for me. Someone needs to be aware, someone needs to protect those around her, someone needs to be ready to pull the Someone needs to be the monster. How do we mend the image of trans women in the eyes of the general population? The monstrous narrative has been so intensely, so powerfully, so totally distributed into the cultural zeitgeist that one of the few true facts known widely about trans women is that few of us remain in contact with our blood families after coming out. What options are out there for us, really? How can a monster talk itself out of an imposed monstrousness? We're all too tall, too strong, too heavy. 6 months ago, a trans woman named Harpy died. I didn't know her. Some of my friends did, and I knew her Tumblr account. She wrote a poem almost 10 years ago that makes it seem like she is still here with us, a ghostly sister. She's not here, not anymore, but maybe it can feel like she is while I read this poem for you. I've put a link to it in the description, too. Girls Like Us by Harpy. Every girl like me I know feels like she was born with an expiration date. Like there's a number stamped on her forehead that says 26 years old. That says 6 months after the money runs out. That says when you can't do this anymore. That says as soon as you work up the courage. And I'm one of the lucky ones because that scares me. Sometimes I think I have an immigrant's patriotism for this world because it took me 20 years to decide what I wanted. Because it took me 20 years to decide that I wanted to live in it. Maybe that's what hope is. But I don't know how to say that the greatest poet I know and her girlfriend, who looks so like me she nearly made my mom faint when she opened the door, are probably not going to last another year. So everybody told me to vote for Bernie Sanders. It's not enough. Now people are saying this might be the end times, but I want to remind them that we have already been living in them for as long as I can remember, and I don't know why it's so hard to keep in contact with someone I don't see, to reach out across that burden of distance with the uncertain arms of exhaustion, but I know why it's so hard to reassure somebody when all you can say is, I'm scared too. How much money do you give somebody when money is the thing you don't have? For time, same question. A trans woman I had never met came into my shop one day and pointed me out to her friend. She said, "You are my sister," and I said, "Yes, I am." So when I saw one of my sisters out on the street with a slice of cardboard, I brought her a bottle of water and all the cash I had in my wallet, because afterward I couldn't stop crying for 6 hours, and I don't think anybody asked me why. Maybe this is why there are so few things that feel important to me anymore. I said the only thing people like me make are cries for help, and I got 128 reblogs. Apparently some people find that relatable. A lot of people have told me that I'm the most optimistic person they know, and I don't tell them that I have to be. I take it as a compliment. The thing they don't tell you about hope is that it's cyclical. It needs to be refreshed every single day. Hope is just like every other kind of work you do on your body. So what does a story mean to that? What can a poem mean to that? I abhor maintenance. I don't want to have to say anything anymore. I want to walk to the place where all my words are done and build a home there. It's not enough. All your pleas and all your promises, your fights and feats and failures are not and never will be enough. Not for us. This world was not made for us. So let's build a better one. Let's start right here, right now, just us, not with a kiss or a fist, but just you and me, pledging to not let go, no matter what comes. Deciding, even when the love is gone, that we're not going to let each other drown anymore. So, I want to offer you my hand. To every girl like me who needs it, and walk with you into a place beyond these empires, a place that doesn't exist yet, and that, I hope, is enough. Because that's everything. I hope that you're right, Harpy. I hope that we have the ability to make this world better. I hope we can do all the maintenance we abhor. I hope that just hanging on to each other is enough. I know that you're in a place beyond these empires now. I hope that you have found your optimism again, and that it doesn't take effort to maintain like it did when you were here. I hope I get to meet you someday. Get to see that optimism for myself. I know I didn't know you, but reading your work, it feels like maybe I did just a little bit. In passing, like starships in interstellar space. I hope I've made a worthy tribute. Thank you for helping me find some hope. In reading that poem, I feel like I've made a pledge to hold on and not let go. Maybe I made that pledge to Harpy, or my idea of her anyway. Maybe I'm holding on to her, or maybe she's holding me down to the earth in ethereal weight, wagging her finger at me as if to say, no, we're not ready for you yet. Sometimes I wonder if the world was ready for me when I was born. I feel lost more often than not these days. Empty. One person looking in the face of multiple genocides as my wife's car, our only reliable form of transportation, is totaled by a snowplow in the middle of the night, just weeks before my internship was meant to start. One person catching COVID for the first time just last month, and having the whole pandemic recontextualize as a result, as my lungs struggle to breathe in the same way they once did. One person whose old friends don't really talk to her anymore. Like a haunted house. A monster made of loneliness. Where do we go from here? In truth, I don't know the answer. I didn't come into writing this with an answer in mind. I just felt these tumors growing on my heart, and I needed to excise them somehow. Making something felt like the way to do that, putting something real out into the world, itself a world so full of fake, empty things and only growing emptier. I'm so tired of fighting entropy. I'm so tired of being the order among chaos. Just once, I'd like to be the one fought for. The reason change for the better is made. This is where I end up whenever I consider what it is to be the monster and redeem the monster. There are just no good answers. The only people we can find hope in are each other, my sisters. Hold on to each other tight. Hope with me for a beautiful world beyond these empires. The love may have gone in these last 10 years, but we must keep each other from drowning. Because that is everything.